So many times the devil tries to turn me around. Keep pressing on, 'cause my soul is heavy now. Cause my soul is heaven now.
What is the deal? What is going on? What is happening with my Raider family? You are back for another live episode of the Raider Rundown. And today, man, training camp has officially ended in Costa Mesa. But don't trip, man. We're going to be breaking it all down. What did we see while the Raiders was away? What did we learn before the first preseason game? What can we expect going into the first preseason game? So without further ado, man, let's go ahead. Let's get the intro started and let's get the show cracking. What is the deal, man? What is going on? Like I said, you are back for another Raider Rundown live episode, man. And I'm sure you have seen the title. We got a very special guest in the building. But before we get to that, you already know what time it is here on the Rundown, man. Before we get to anything, we got to do the most important segment of the day, which is... Gotta hit it with the roll call, man. Gotta give a shout out to the chat. Like I said, we're gonna be talking a lot of stuff, a lot of training camp stuff, a lot of preview to the preseason stuff. But definitely want to give a shout out to y'all before we get into that, man, with our guest. Shout out to Huey P, man, in the building. Showing up, showing out, man. Salute to you. My dog Prez, Raiders Resistance. What's going on, man? Glad to see you in the building. SoCal Sal, what's the deal, man? How you feeling? Got all my people in the building so far. Let me go ahead and keep going. Let me see who else I got up in here, man. Yeah, my man Leo. What's the deal? What's going on? My dog Leo in the building. Shout out TRS, man. Milka Beezy, salute to you. In the building. OJ, what's going down? What it do? Salute to you. Yes, sir. Everybody showing up, showing out. You already know what time it is. Make sure you guys are hitting the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Not only on my channel, but we're going to do it for my guest channel as well. And to the stage, I'm about to bring a very special guest. Y'all see the title of the show. But, man, one of the homies always showing that Raider love, man. Always showing that Raider knowledge. But the one, the only, man, Marcus Johnson. What's going on, big dog?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Man, chilling, bro, chilling. Thank you, like I said, for showing up, man, on this special day, man, because at the end of the day, training camp at Costa Mesa is over. So we got to get your insight, man. We got to get your knowledge on what you saw and what you learned going into training camp.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm excited to join the show, man. You know, I'm always down to come on the show, bro. So anytime you want me on, you know, I'm here. So appreciate you. I appreciate all you did for me, helping out. You know, he's the one who designed up my cover. So, you know, that we do, and, you know, helping us out with all the shorts and shit. So I really appreciate that, my dude. So,
hey, no problem, bro. Whenever you ready again, man, we're gonna do some other 5 things, man. Got some more ideas in the works. But
yeah.
let's go ahead and get it started, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And I know you know, we have a lot to talk about, but you know, I think we can go ahead and save the juicy stuff right now, just a little bit later, because I know everybody waiting for the quarterback talk. But let's start a little more positive, because I feel like the quarterback talk ain't as positive as we want it to be. So let's start with the defense, really. Or really, I want to start with your surprises so far of training camp. You have any big surprises so far that has revealed themselves in training camp?
Yeah, you know, a couple surprises. I mean, Byron Young actually getting developing is a big surprise. You know, we weren't expecting much from him to kind of help out this football team this year. Really, we weren't really expecting that. But, you know, John Jenkins, I guess he said he had a wisdom tooth problem, so we all thought it was an injury, but it's just a wisdom tooth,
Yeah.
so which is better than the injury. So, but you know, Byron Young was able to kind of show his ability and show his growth. And that was one of my biggest surprises, to see him really start to become part of this rotation. I mean, especially, you know, with Adam Butler there, and you know, and you expecting Tyree to kind of move in there at defense tackle at times. But, you know, to hear about Byron Young, you know, especially he was pretty bad last year, didn't really do anything, and you know, he was an inactive player for a lot. I think that was a big surprise for me to kind of see him out there doing really well. So yeah, it's a pleasant surprise, because you weren't really expecting it, but it's great news to hear. So that was probably one of my biggest surprises, right? Is Byron Young taking that step and kind of living up to his draft pick. And, you know, that's the thing what we want to see. We want to see these young guys take a step, especially, you know, with the expectations of this defense, and just getting these guys some breathers and having a good player come in. And if he can take the next step, man, you know, you can move around and decide what you want to do with the 3 technique. Because, you know, Christian Wilkins is an older player. So, you know, if you want to see that growth from him, and maybe he can add some pass rush to it, because it's something he was missing coming out of college. I think that's something that you are excited about. Definitely a pleasant surprise for me was Byron Young.
100%, man. And it's funny, I just talked about it with some of my guys. You know, they was like, man, we gave up Neil Farrell for nothing, or whatever the case. But now I'm like, hey, we got Byron Young, and a lot of people, if you said that before a couple weeks ago, they would have laughed at you, like, all right, who cares, like, Byron Young who? But yeah, at this point right now, you know, he's doing his thing right now, and that's exactly what we need, because like you said, we got some older dudes in the room. Not only because also I was expecting some more from the other younger dudes like Nesta J. Silvera, and I didn't really hear things like that from him. So to see that he's the one that's sending it is good news to me. I do got to ask you, because my biggest surprise, I'm not gonna lie, it's been Jacorian Bennett so far. I wasn't really a Jacorian Bennett fan to go into it. I didn't have that much confidence. Let's put it like that. Didn't say I completely gave up, But the confidence I had, I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna see. So far, he's proven me wrong, and that's cool to say. That's good to say, because he has to be able to do good in order for the team to do good. But I mean, were you ever on the Jacorian Bennett train? Did it take you a minute to catch on to it, or what do you feel about him?
Yeah, with Jacorian Bennett, though, the thing with him, I mean, he had a good camp last year. So, I mean, to me, it's not about camp for me with him. I want to see what he looks like week one. When I went out there, a couple weeks ago, maybe even a week ago. I went out there and checked out camp myself with my own eyes. And he looked really good. He did, man. He did look really good. But like I said, he looked good last camp. I mean, he won the job. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he didn't win the job last year and he looked bad in camp and then, looked good in the games. It was totally the reverse. So what you want to see from him is that translate into week one if he's going to be that guy. Because if you can, show that in camp and show what you got to do in camp, you want that to translate into the game. So that's what we hope in here is that he's going to take that next step and show himself in games that he can actually be that type of player. Because if you just could be like a practice player, that's not going to help the Raiders at all. And the cornerback depth's a little bit iffy. So if he's not stepping up and not becoming that player, we saw some good things from Devonshire and Richardson this camp too. But even then, you don't want those young guys out there trying to make plays. So you want Jacorian Bennett to take that step, and especially with Brandon Faison, if I'm saying that right. I learned about that name yesterday. But
it's another way to say something now.
I thought it was that's what it says on the depth chart. It says Faison. Okay. So that's what it says on the depth chart. I'm just go with the depth chart.
We've been doing it wrong this whole time. That's on us, did.
With him, you know what I mean? Like, he's hurt right now, so you expect Jacorian Bennett to take that step.
Right. And you would hope, and you would need. I've been saying, if Brandon Faison is our starting number 2 corner, we probably have a little bit of a problem. No lie. And then Jacorian, like you said, last year he played good in training camp. I think, him not playing preseason last year hurt as well. I think he should have been playing preseason like he should be playing this year. So we definitely gonna see what he looks like there. But I mean, as far as the corners, I think they've been a pleasant surprise in camp. I mean, Jack Jones is playing like an all-pro looking like so far. But I mean, what did he look like when you went to the camp?
Yeah, I mean, he looked good, man. I know he had a little bit of problem with Jacoby Myers in the one-on-ones when I was there, but I think Jacoby. Jack Jones is not going to be somebody that is shut down. I'm going to say that. I mean, he's going to get beat, right? And, I expect Raiders fans to kind of expect that he's just not going to be this ultimate move him around, shut down guy. He's more like a zone guy. He's be able to read things, a lot of film, and he's going to trust his instincts. But trusting those instincts and taking those chances are going to allow him to make some mistakes as well. So I would expect him to be able to take advantage of teams getting rid of the ball quick because of the pass rush, and him maybe getting his hand on the football. He has great hands. If he gets his hand on the football, it's probably a pick. I mean, the only drop I really had last year was the Vikings game last year. But if he can, basically read the field, take advantage of some of these quick releases, these guys, and quick throws that we're going to see, and he can, use his instincts and kind of just take off, get those picks. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be the thing for him in his growth. But I wouldn't expect him to be like a shutdown guy, right? I mean, they're going to play a lot of zone, and the Raiders don't play a lot of man, and there's a reason for that. So, when they do play man, I mean, it can get a little iffy there. So you just play a lot of zone because that's what Nate Hobbs does best is a zone corner. That's what Jack Jones does best. And, you get Morgan Epps moving around there. So, I would expect him to be a ball hawk this year. But like I said, I wouldn't expect him to be pure shutdown. Let's say that.
Okay. But you expect him to be somebody who, if the ball is thrown the wrong way or something like that, he's gonna get his hands on that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a trait that's not really. I mean, people don't really talk about it, but I mean, to be able to intercept the football, not a lot of corners. I mean, you see Sauce Gardner's damn near the best corner in the league, and he don't really catch picks like that. Honestly,
he got stone hands.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a trait that a lot of people don't be talking about. Salute to my pops, man, in the building, man. Glad to have you on. He always be watching your show, man. I know your show one of his favorite shows.
That's what's up.
But salute to everybody in the chat, man. You already know. So, we're gonna go ahead and go into this. So we looked at the biggest surprise. So coming out of training camp, right? They leaving Costa Mesa. what's your biggest question mark right now? Like coming out of Costa Mesa, because I know not everything is answered right now as far as where you think some of the people on the team is going to be. So, what's your biggest question mark right now?
I mean, besides quarterback, I guess. I mean, that's the obvious one, right? It's the question mark. So, besides quarterback, besides quarterback, I would say is the wide receiver position right now. Because Trey Tucker is having a lot of drops right now. Michael Gallup retired, which I thought Michael Gallup was a good security guy for this team to kind of really show maybe what they could do a little bit, and kind of just have some depth, right? Because if Gallup or Adams or somebody, hopefully they don't go down, you expect maybe Gallup to come in there and show some veteran presence, but he's gone. So the wide receiver position has a lot of holes. You see Raymel Keaton, he's having a good camp, but he's an undrafted free agent. You don't know if that maybe is a steal though, because he ran like 2 routes to Tennessee, so we don't know what his actually route tree is. And I was talking on the radio to Vinny. I can't say his last name, but shout out to my dude Vinny at Las Vegas Review Journal. I hate to mess up his last name. Bonsignor, yeah, Vinny. Yeah, so Vinny was talking about how he looks a little bit like Jacoby Myers right now, so that's a good thing. But that's my other question mark besides like quarterback, is like what they're going to do at the wide receiver position at this point. You know what I mean?
Right. I 100% and with that. I see, and shout out to my guy Turf. He talked about Raymel Keaton, and that was one of the guys that he, was all over. And he's making plays so far. So, it is a question mark to see what's going to go down if Trey Tucker continues to have these hands of stone. You know what I mean? What's going to go down? He's disappointing me right now. I'm not even going to lie, because I thought he was going to be able to build on his strong off season and come into this training camp and continue what he was doing. But the drops are hindering that, man. I mean, did you see a drop from him when you went? How did he look when you went?
Well, what I went, I mean, there wasn't that many completions. I'm not gonna lie to you. So,
man, see, and you confirming something right now. I just talked about it, bro. This quarterback position, we're gonna spend a lot of time on that. It looks like.
Yeah. But I think Tucker is still growing as a route runner. In college he didn't have any drops, right? I mean, he had a pretty good drop percentage in college. I think his junior year he didn't have one. I think he had 1 drop the whole year.
Interesting.
And then the next year, I think he had like 5. So it wasn't a problem in college, but at times it's really showed up in the NFL. Like, I mean, there's literally 2 games last year. I mean, the Vikings and the Dolphins, if he makes a sideline catch, we might be talking totally different about Aiden O'Connell altogether. I don't think Aiden O'Connell might even have a competitor, you know what I mean? So if he makes those 2 catches on the sideline, you know what I mean? We're having a totally different conversation about the Raiders season last year. How they look against the Dolphins. So, there's some instances where, he has to get better in some of those areas, you know what I mean? So, like I said, it wasn't a thing in college, but it's a little bit of a thing right now in the NFL. And the thing is when you're trying to become a better route runner, you can, get into your head a little bit worrying about what you're trying to do with your routes and stuff like that. And you might have a little bit of issues of bringing the ball in a little bit. So I think that's something he's got to just work on and just get his concentration down.
Yeah, and I feel like he body catches more than anything. You know what I mean? Like, he continues to do that, and that can get you in trouble sometimes when you're a pure body catcher. So it might be because one of the followers asked, is it a mental thing? Might be a mental thing. Because you're saying he didn't really struggle with that in college, so. Coming into it, I think it's just compounding. He's just dropping all these footballs right now. Yeah.
He showed really strong hands in college, right? And so it's interesting. It's like I said, it's a concentration thing, and hopefully it doesn't get into his head. You just got to stay positive. Hit that the jug machine after practice and put that work in and make sure he's catching those passes.
Yeah, because that's the deep threat. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we got DJ Turner, but you look at Trey Tucker, they're hoping Trey Tucker makes that step. You know what I mean? That's the threat right here to take the top off the defense. I will say right now, my biggest question mark, it's not like I'm super worried about it, but it's JPJ, right? Like, he hasn't been on the field at all. And I know our left side of the line ain't really practiced at all in training camp. Colton, I'm not really worried about because Colton been here. He's a veteran. You know what I mean? He kind of he can learn the playbook. He'll get his rhythm. Probably start off a little slow, but he'll get his rhythm. Now JPJ on the other hand, that's different. Now we coming into a situation where week 2, you playing one of the better defenses in the league. They got one of the better lines. You know what I mean? You playing Cleveland sometime after that. Like, these are teams you're gonna have to be prepared for. So he's worrying me that he's not out there. I mean, is there anything you've heard, anything you've seen about him to give us any news?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, the thing is it's not a serious injury. I really feel like they're just trying to keep it slow with him, but it's still concerning because, as a rookie, the NFL game is just so damn fast, right? So you're going from college to the NFL. So he doesn't really never really have full speed in camp, OTAs and mini camp. I mean,
Right.
it's OTAs and mini camp. It's just not really as full speed as training camp with pads on. So that's the thing. Like you're a little worried about that, about him getting used to the speed. But I still think that if he's healthy, man, I think it's going to help the run game, which is very important for this season for the offense to be successful. So he's a stud in the run game. I think he'll be able to do that day one. It's just more about like pass protection, things like that, figuring out, about his pad level and trying to figure out how to use his hands in the NFL and what moves guys use, because everything's going to be unique for him. And that's the importance of him getting better is in getting those reps out there. And that's a little worrisome. It is him not getting those reps. Cole Miller, I'm not really worried about. I mean, he's a veteran. Yeah. Veterans really don't even need damn camp. So that's why Adams is gone. I mean, they don't need
exactly
it, right? So if you can get JPJ going, it's going to help a lot for sure.
Yeah, I like you said, I mean, Colton, veteran, but yeah, I know a lot of people's question mark is this running game. That's one. A lot of people are worried about how the running backs and the running game is going to look because we ain't got no Josh Jacobs. I understand that, but I think we have maybe enough in the room to kind of maybe help with the loss with Josh, but especially the O-line being better. Especially with Colton, JPJ coming back, they're just going to look 100% better. But we on the running game. I mean, not a lot of people have a lot of confidence in Zamir White. I see a lot of people are shaky on that. So where are you on? Where are you on Zamir in the running game?
Yeah, I think Zamir's going to be good. I don't know if he'll be great, but I know he'll be good. I think he'll be a good running back in the NFL. He already showed he can get it done. He carried the Raiders offense in the Chiefs game. And, he had a couple 100-yard games already last year. So we know what he can do, right? It's not about, having a kind of a mystery with him. He's been pretty consistent. One thing I really like about him, he's always falling forward. So you're not going to really see a lot of negative plays with him when he's running the football. No matter what, he's a big dude. He's always going to be falling forward, always going to be using his pads and running people over. So, that's the thing. I have a little bit of vision concerns, a little bit if he can run outside zone. And wide zone, but I think if they mix it up and give him some inside zone runs, duo runs, which duo is kind of like opposite of inside zone. If he can get some of those runs going, I think he'll be fine. He can read those really well. He does a good job of being decisive in those. It's just more of the wide zones. He's just not really good at reading those, and he just never really has been. Didn't run it at Georgia, didn't do anything like that. And he was drafted by Josh McDaniels because Josh McDaniels ran a gap system, which is like guards pulling and that type of stuff, tosses, those type of things. So yeah, he is a little bit concerning when it comes to outside zone, but I think with everything else, he'll be able to get it done. He'll be positive. I expect like a 4.4, 4.5 yards per carry type of thing. So I'm not really that low on him. It's just how they use him. But I think hopefully they'll be smart and they'll understand their personnel and how to use him and get the most out of him.
Yeah, I mean, so would it be out of the realm to say, because I think he can get 1,000. I think he can be 1,000-yard back for what the Raiders need him to do. Just, pure playing, I think he's going to be if you want to say the workhorse back, I think he's going to be the one getting the most carries. So at the end of the day, I think he can get 1,000 out of this season. Would that be out of the realm, you'd say?
It's not. That's what I'm saying. Like I think he's going to be pretty. I think he's going to be pretty serviceable, man. I think he's going to get the job done. I don't see anything really wrong with him that tells me that he can't be 1,000-yard back. Right? It's more, can he be like is he like be dominant? Is he be like get 1,500 yards? I mean, that's a different story, but I could definitely see him getting in the 1,100s or something like that, which could be good enough for this offense. And it's gonna be important for him to get going and be a good running back. But like I said, he falls forward. So I mean, if you notice that last year, even the games where he wasn't that good, it was still like 4 yards a carry, right? It wasn't like it was a down type of thing. So it's the thing with him is, since he's always falling forward, I expect him to have some games and hit some holes where he's doing a good job there. I still think they're going to be a pretty damn good run blocking once JPJ and Colton Miller get back in there, mixed in with Parham. And then Mumford is a great run blocker, really showed that last year. So there's going to be a lot of elements for them to kind of take off in the run game and be pretty good in that area.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Now, one of the running backs that, I don't want to say everybody be arguing about, I'm on the good side of, but I like Dylan Lowry. I think Dylan Lowry going to end up getting some playing time on the offensive side. We was doing some shorts. We did some shorts about Dylan Lowry. You did a video about Dylan Lowry not too long ago, his route running, type of dynamic player he is. But did you see anything while you was there at the camp? Because I know a lot of people say at the camp in person, his quickness is crazy. And at the same time, I think, what do you think about his role going into this year?
Yeah, I think he's going to be the third down back. I think he's going to be third down back day one, to be honest, because he's ready to go in that area. He can block, which is a big thing. A lot of people don't talk about his blocking skills, but that's very important. He's a better blocker than Amir Abdullah. Let's keep it real. So,
and a lot of people had question marks on that about if he can do that coming out. That was the question mark.
Yeah. I mean, it's something he did really well at the Senior Bowl too. He blocked really well at the Senior Bowl. No linebacker could guard him at the Senior Bowl, and you kind of saw that at camp too. No linebacker. All the linebackers have trouble with him. Divine Diablo does pretty good against him, but Divine Diablo he does great man coverage in practice too, and then it kind of gets iffy in the games as well. So, but
don't get me started on that one. Everybody already up in here don't get me started on that one.
Yeah, so Lobby, like I said, he'll be able to get it done. He'll be able to get it done. Going in there and blocking, getting it done in that area, catching the pass out of the backfield, be able to make guys miss in the open field for some check downs and things like that, and they can mix it up with them, give some of those what I'm thinking about, swing routes outside, hitting those flat routes, hit him in the flat. So I think he's going to do a lot of great things like that. But I wouldn't expect him to carry the football that much this year. I think it's gonna be Samir and Madison doing that. And we see maybe Britton Brown becomes that third running back or whatever. We'll see how that goes in the preseason. We don't know. Maybe he had a good preseason last time. He got a chance to do some run, and we haven't really heard much about him. But you're not gonna hear much about the running backs. And the reason why you hear the most about Dylan Lobby is because in training camp, most of what you hear out of it is the passes. You're not gonna hear about.
And he's making that type of impact in the pass game. Correct.
Exactly.
Got you on there. So, I mean, we keep talking about, we're staying on the offense a little bit. We're just going to keep flip-flopping. But, going from Dylan Lowry, and we talking about this O-line, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about DJ Glaze and him getting the reps with the ones. So, very surprising to me, personally, because when we got him, I wasn't really too excited. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like the pick all that well. I thought there was other dudes on the board we might have could selected at the time. But being able to say, all right, we can put Thayer at left. You can go ahead and man that right spot with the ones at this juncture right now against this defense. That's pretty good. I'm going to take more cachet when we get into the preseason. But what are you feeling as far as him getting them reps with the ones? Is there anything you saw from him while you was there, maybe that you was like, okay, maybe that's something you can work with right there?
Yeah. With DJ Glaze, when I was out there, he wasn't getting the first team reps, right? So it wasn't, especially they weren't in pads. But Thayer Mumford got hurt, right? Thayer Mumford got hurt, and then he did pretty good against Max Crosby, and that's really why he started getting some practice. I don't know, Max Crosby took it personal and was pointing at the media the next day because he's he didn't like that. He didn't like how the media was saying that DJ Glaze was blocking.
Yeah,
he didn't like that. But that's to me, that's a great thing. You know what I mean? Like that's not to see that growth for him and see him be able to kind of take that step where he can challenge Thayer Mumford for the job. That's a great thing. It kind of shows that maybe he can have some growth and become a starter down the line. And that's one of the things you really like. I mean, that's what you wanted when you drafted him. When you drafted a tackle in the third round, you're expecting more of a development type of guy. So when you have that and you see him development quicker than usual or more quicker than you expected, that's a great thing. And I wouldn't knock that or anything like that. So I expect him to keep growing. It's gonna be exciting to watch him in the preseason, see how he does and see how he handles things.
Yeah. I can't wait to see, what he does. And like you said, the fact that right now he can either challenge or be able to be serviceable in that spot as of this moment right now against that defense, that's real good growth. Because I wasn't expecting that at all first year. I'm expecting, wait in the shadows, just go ahead and build up slow. Next year we do that. But to get that now, that's real good. I know we got some We got some questions in here real quick. I know somebody asked how sincere McCormick looked. Me, I was never a sincere McCormick fan. I feel like, this might be the year that it might be over with because I ain't heard nothing as far as sincere.
Yeah, to be honest, when I was out there in the twos and the threes, and those guys weren't getting a lot of reps. So you're not seeing a lot of sincere. You're gonna see a lot of him in the games. Same thing with like Anthony Brown and those dudes. They barely get reps out there. They're not getting. I mean, it's the quarterback battles out there, so they're trying to keep the best players out there with those guys. You're not those other kind of more backups aren't getting the reps that you would expect. It's the same with like Britton Brown and those other dudes. They're not getting those reps in practice, right? So it's gonna be more what we see from Sincere McCormick in the games to see if he can make this football team, and that's going to be as important for him is for him to show out in the games.
Yeah, right. That's how he's going to be able to make the squad. We at the halfway point too, so make sure everybody hit thumbs up as well if you like the content on both sides, right? Tape don't lie, or you like that Raider Rundown content. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button as well if you're new to both channels. But another question somebody else had, Bowers, right? A lot of news about Bowers coming out, man. And I'm not gonna lie, every time I see one of the little breakdowns, I think it's Jesse Maverick or somebody like that. They give us a little breakdown of practice, and I see him, flat here, rush here. It makes my heart warm, man. I love it because they're using him the right way. So as of right now, you seeing everything so far that's going on with Bowers. What are your feelings on that? Because as of right now, it looks like a very, very good pick.
Oh, Bowers is a stud, man. That dude's nuts. It is ridiculous. That's all I would say about Brock Bowers.
Okay.
He can do everything, and I wouldn't expect him to block. When I was talking about wide receiver earlier, but he might be the third wide receiver. He's the slot. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. He's exactly. The slot. He's the X. He's the fullback. He's the Y. In the 12 personnel, the spread, the Y, the flex Y. Is what I'm looking for. So he's going to be that guy for everything. He's going to be a huge part of this offense. So is Michael Mayer though too. You see those guys. I swear.
Just about to ask because people like saying, "Oh, just because we got Bowers, Mayer's going to be a non-factor."
Yeah. Michael Mayer's not going to be a non-factor. Mayer's going to be out there a lot because the thing is, like I said, Brock Bowers is not blocking. I mean, AP said that today when he was being interviewed by NFL Network. He said we are not expecting him to block, and that was big tell, right? So Mayer's going to get a lot of snaps still. Mayer's going to be really effective, and they're going to lean on those guys because one thing about those two, and Michael Mayer is very underrated with Yak. Right. It's something that we don't talk about. I talk about that when I show his film. He has a lot of yak ability. He can make guys miss. He can run guys over. He's hard to take down. He'll carry guys for like 3 or 4 yards extra. So he's the type of guy that you could dump the ball off too, right? And Brock Bowers is the same. So it's going to be that type of look where you're going to see Mayer and Bowers on the field together, and but you're going to see Bowers as more of a wide receiver. Right, than actual blocking tight end, right? And we'll see how teams play that, and you're gonna see a lot of smaller slot receivers on him if that does happen. So it's gonna be a lot of good matchups that Luke Getsy can take advantage of. He got all right. It's not just me. It's frozen. All right. What up, y'all? You got any questions? Wait for rundown. You got any questions? I can answer some of y'all questions. Yeah, wait for rundown here. Come back. See if I can see anything here. Sam Webb. I mean, Sam Webb's actually looking pretty good out there. Actually, when I saw him out there, so that was some. He was working it out there. I actually think he might have a shot to make this football team, but we'll see though. You got Devonshire and those guys. Bennett is CP2 for sure. I think he's got to work it out there. Yeah, I got your back, dog. I was keeping you going, dog. I was keeping the show going. I got your back.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you 100%, dog. Well, hey, every time it starts storming around here, my damn Wi-Fi want to go ahead and play hopscotch. I don't know what's going on, but at the end of the day, we straight. We good, man. We back. We back.
That's what's up.
But yeah, we talking about Michael Mayer and all that. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, real quick, everybody was, talking about Mayer is gonna be out and he won't be able to do anything as far as this offense, or he's gonna get replaced by Bowers. But I'm like, you saw him at Georgia. He played with, I think, what's that dude that the Steelers got? Darnell Washington, I believe. Yeah, so that told me everything I need to know. You got to do like that, and he was able to play a lot of snaps with that type of tight end. So it shows he can be, versatile when you get into there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Beezy asked, right, real quick, do you think that the Cameron Richardson hype is real?
Yeah.
That's going into it.
Yeah. I think he's having a good camp, man. I think he's a very long player, so he can do the what he needs to do, and he was a very smart guy on film. It's just he just has bad ball skills. So hopefully that doesn't he gets better at that. To me that's a little bit natural, but we'll see if you could work on that. You can get a little bit better on it, but it is something that's natural that you gotta you're just kind of born with. You guys are just born with ball skills, being able to find the ball. I mean, that's what Jack Jones has, right? So you have to be kind of just instincts, have the instincts to kind of just do that. But, I think knowing the system, running zone, knowing those things, he does a good job at that. So I think he has a lot of chance to kind of grow into the system.
Okay. Got you. Now, shout out my man, Mike. He says, wide receiver 3, do we need to bring in anyone else? Because I know, you just talked about it. I think Bowers can kind of take over the missing piece of the wide receiver thing. But at the end of the day, not having another wide receiver that you can rely on may hurt you in the long run. I know he likes Michael Thomas. I know he's a fan of trying to bring in Michael Thomas. But where are you at on that wide receiver? Do you think they got to sign somebody? You think it's imperative?
To be honest, I think they should wait a little bit. I think they should wait until some of these other guys get cut. Because I mean, they're I know about like Michael Thomas and some of those guys, but those are guys who could want too many targets, and they're not. It's not going to work out on this team because this would be Adams, Bowers, and Mayer. And then you got Jacoby Myers, who's having a really good camp, who's going to be in there. But, like there's guys like, I was watching like the Texans game, which, I was watching some of those backups, like guys like John Mechie, right? Who actually has some talent, but he's got, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs in front of him. And he might be expendable, right? They might be somebody that, you could just throw like a 7th round pick at, and you could bring him in and, you could see how he develops because, before he had the issues with the disease he ended up having, he was somebody I really like coming out, and that's those type of guys you can take a chance on. You can kind of see the growth with those things. So I kind of want to see who gets cut, who's available, who can make it work for them. And, besides all the targets that they are going to have, and bring in some depth, and also find somebody that can be really good down the line that is young. So that's why somebody like John Mechie, somebody like that might get cut, or those type of guys that are kind of on the fence, getting cut, but there just might be too much depth on a team. I'm trying to think it's a team that is kind of loaded at wide receiver that might have that type of issues, but the Texans is that's a team that I'm looking at because who's going to get all those targets there, right? I mean, Stephon Diggs is there; he's going to get a bunch of targets. I don't care what nobody says. Nico Collins,
100%.
His stats is going down. I don't care what anybody says. So, like Stephon Diggs, those type of guys are going to be over there. That's why you like somebody like John Mechie that might come in and you can help out, be a really young guy, and somebody you could develop and then maybe become a really good player because he had really good film coming out. Yeah,
that's a real good analysis right there. Didn't even think about a player like that, but he would make total sense as far as to bring in somebody who's young, right? Got some speed, got some ability. Don't really need to rely on him like that. So that's a great thing right there. I know people are saying Lauby can line up in the slot as well. I mean, I think we got multiple players to kind of, combat not having that. But at the end of the day, if you wanted to bring in one, I understand. So I think it's about that time, man. It's about that time we go ahead and talk about the most crucial thing of it all. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents real quick because I want to know how you feel. I really want to know how you feel. So not too long ago, I gave a little live right saying that this might be the way this quarterback thing is looking. Might be a meaningless war the way this shit is looking. All right, because you got a guy who you pay so much money to, right? It's not an obscene amount of money, but compared to what the other dude is making, it's peanuts, right? Like compared to what O'Connell is making to Gardner, it's not even comparable. You bring him in. And he's barely even beating out AOC at this point, who is realistically a 4th round pick selection in his 2nd year, right? And they're both learning the same offense. This dude's supposed to have all this veteran leadership. Even with the Aiden O'Connell thing, he hasn't really taken the bull by the horns, and he's been here. So, I mean, the more this goes, the longer it goes, I think the worse it looks. That's just in my opinion. But where are you? I mean, maybe you could talk me off the ledge on what's going down with the quarterback position. But I'm like, oof, it's ugly right now. I'm not having too much confidence.
Yeah, I don't know if I can talk you off the ledge. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I mean, it's really
that's cool. That's fine. I'll jump off too.
I'm not gonna talk you off the ledge. What I would say though, with the quarterback position is, in camp, I really kind of expect him to look better in camp just because it's training camp. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right. I really kind of expect him to look better. But when he comes to the quarterback position for the Raiders this year, the running game is so vital. Okay, so we haven't seen them be able to run the ball yet. Right. I mean, that's in training camp. It's all drop back passes. I'm not expecting these guys to do that many drop back passes without like play action and those type of things, which I would hope. Right. Right. I think that, I think these guys, if you're doing drop back passes and all those things, it's not going to look good, especially Gardner Minshew. I've never really been a Gardner Minshew fan. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not like that signing at all. Some people thought, some people were excited because he's cool and wears jorts. And that's fine. I mean, that's how you feel. If you feel like you could be happy that you got a guy who wears jorts and he's really cool looking and he makes funny faces, sure. And I think a lot of the media wants him to win because of that. They think he's just like this cool personality, right? And that's fine. But to be like he almost won the job on Saturday. It was like he went out and celebrated, and they came out Monday. It looked like shit. So
Thank you.
So it's one of those things, right? And with him, I still kind of expect Aiden to win the job because I feel like AP wants Aiden to win the job still.
Me too.
He's making a lot of excuses for him and his comments. So, but I know we all saw it. We know there's a path of how to win with Aiden O'Connell. We all saw it, right? I mean, there's a path 100%. To it, right? I mean, there's a path to win with Gardner Minshew too. But with Aiden O'Connell, we know there is a path, right? Yeah. They went 5-4. They won some games they shouldn't have won last year. I know he didn't complete a pass on one of them, but he didn't turn the ball over in that game. So that's that's the outlook. He didn't turn the ball over at all.
That's the only positive you can say about that game. That's it.
Yeah. Right. But there's and there's a lot of things that he has issues too. Like when I did my quarterback rankings on my AOP, I still have him like 25 right there. But it's not something to be super excited about. But I know there's a path that we can win with this game. Just like if you can run the ball and do a lot of play action with Aiden O'Connell. His passer rating with the play action last year was 100, right? It was 101, I believe. Without it was 78. So that kind of shows you what it looks like when these guys are just dropping back naturally. Yeah, so he needs the run game. He needs the play action passes. And so they can get the run game. There's a path to win with him. It's just with Gardner Minshew, like, he's just not going to help the offensive line. He's going to take a lot of sacks. My dude, Coach A, was posting a lot of Bengals stuff against the Colts last year. He just takes a lot of sacks. If he doesn't, it gets a little iffy, gets groovy. He just starts throwing the ball over anywhere, right? So, there's a path to win with him. I mean, you can win with Gardner too. You can find ways, and Gardner is a little bit more clutch than Aiden is, and he has a little more, guts to him at the end of the game. I would say, even though we don't know how this is gonna translate into this year for Aiden, but I just think that you gotta. There's a path. Like I know I could find a way to steal some games with Aiden O'Connell, and kind of get through the season.
Right.
With Gardner Minshew, he's just more of a wild card to me, and hopefully they kind of suit get this get this done over with in the preseason.
Yeah, get it figured out at this point. Because that's where I'm at. Because I'm saying, like, if we ain't got no answer by next week, right? By Dallas. Oh, yeah, it's real ugly, in my opinion. Because I'm like, bro, if you really don't know at this point, like, we're past the second preseason game, bro. You still don't know who's gonna be the starter, bro. There's only one more left. You know what I mean? And realistically, that last preseason game, you really don't care about. You feel what I'm saying? Like, as far as the starters and who should be starting, you should be like, all right, bro, I already know who's starting by that last preseason game. So very interesting to me. Like you said, right? Everybody, because I got some guys that are on my little clique, on our network. They like Gardner. They celebrated with him on Saturday. They was like, oh yeah, there it is. You know what I mean? That's the starter right there. I'm like, pump your brakes, man. Let's see how it plays out. And of course, in real Gardner Minshew fashion, he's not consistent. Right, like that's his number one thing. He's not consistent. I know, and pretty much everybody know when you sign him, you're not going to get consistency from Gardner Minshew every day, and that's just not what's going to happen. He's going to be sporadic at times, and that's what it looked like. But it's just at this point, like we haven't seen any quarterback play clean. You know what I mean? We haven't seen any quarterback really take the bull by the horns. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of people are saying, like, where's the leadership coming from? You know what I mean? That's the next little factor. You got dudes dropping the ball. You got dudes jumping off sides, doing all that, like mental errors. When is the quarterback going to reveal, like, all right, bro, we got to take this by the horns and say, nah, this is my offense. Did you see any of that when you was out there? Maybe any hint of, like, all right, this leadership here. He's taking the bull by the horns here.
To be fair, I'm gonna be fair here. I think AP has so many high expectations for this defense that, the offense is when they start to do well, he's going to get on the defense, expect them to step up, right?
Okay.
And, there were talk about one point in camp when the offense was actually starting to look good, and AP stopped the defense, started yelling at them, right? And then it shuts it down in camp. Because when I went out there at camp, the first session, AOC threw 2 touchdowns, and I was like, oh man, maybe he's going to take this job. And then it was like they split up, and they came back, and then it was just bad after that for everybody. It was just, so there's so much expectations on the defense from AP. He's a defensive head coach. He's like an old school defensive head coach where it's like, yeah, we have an offense, but we're gonna play defense. But you know what I mean? Like that's the outlook for it. So it's that type of thing right now for me. That we are a defensive football team right now, and the defense has high expectations. And I think they're going to live up to those expectations, and the offense just has to do enough. They just got to get it done, right? I mean, they got to move the football, don't do a bunch of 3 and outs, be efficient, and have some explosive plays, and take advantage of when this defense gets turnovers or sacks or those type of things, and they get easy fields. And, they get to start at the 50. They need to go get some points. Doesn't matter if it's 3 or 7. They need to go get some damn points, right? And keep getting points every single drive. Get some scores every single drive. Those type of things. They got to get that done. And I think the run game is going to be a big part of that. The play action game is going to be a big part of that. So, if either one of these quarterbacks could do the play action game, I really never looked into Minshew's play action stats that much, but I know O'Connell can do that. It's just with Minshew, you just got to worry about him taking sacks and stuff like that. More sacks than what O'Connell is, because he tries to make plays. Like O'Connell's just even though I know people think statues get sacked more than guys who make plays, but it's literally the opposite. Guys who try to make plays get sacked more than statues. So a statue's going to get rid of the ball.
And that's very interesting to hear. People will argue that, and they'll say, "Oh no,
it's wrong though." Because if you look at any playmaking quarterback besides Mahomes and Josh Allen, who are anomalies, they all take a lot of sacks, right? So I mean, Joe Burrow, when he first came out, and he was more of a playmaking type of quarterback, he got sacked a lot, right? And Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, all those guys get sacked a lot. But it's a gift and a curse. Like you get the playmaking part of it, but you're also going to get some sacks. And the same thing's going to be with Minshew. You're going to get one play, you're going to be like, oh, that's dope, he made a great play. Another play is like, oh, why don't you get rid of the ball? You're going to get sacked. So it's going to be a little bit different aspect there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But to be honest, I expect Minshew to play well in the preseason because he should. He's a veteran. we saw Davis Mills. I don't know if you guys watched the game.
If he
last
don't,
week.
that's what I'm saying, bro. If he don't, we're really sitting here like, bro, what
Brett
the hell
Ripien.
is going on? Yeah, like what's going on, bro? There's no way I don't know how many years he's been in the league. What, 7, something like that, 7 years, and we sitting in preseason, he's struggling, bro. Like, yeah, come on, bro. That immediately he probably loses the job off that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he would.
And that's what I'm saying. If the job is even, and to right now, to me, I think it's even. I think it's deadlock. I don't think nobody has no leg up on the competition at all. But I'm saying if it's like that, I think it's gonna go to Aiden, regardless, because of all the factors, bro. I mean, he's a veteran, he's getting paid all this money, he's not really outperforming Aiden, so you might as well roll with the younger, cheaper option and see how that goes. I mean, that's just my 2 cents and see how, and I think it's a better transition and progression if you go from like if Aiden sucks to go from Gardner, then to be like, all right, let's go to Gardner, and then Gardner sucks, and then we're going to Aiden. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It might feel like a better progression in my opinion, but that's just me, man. I think Saturday's gonna show us everything we need to know, though.
Yeah. I think for sure, but like I said, Gardner Minshew should go out there and perform. Like I said, especially if he's going out there and play with the ones, I think he might get that start, right? So if he goes out there once and he does well, then he might end up keeping that job. But if he doesn't have some bad drives and they're not able to get the ball moving, and they keep the noise about the quarterbacks going, then yeah, it's going to go to AFC. Because we also AFC in the preseason last year. I mean, yeah, it was a tougher system. So, and he's playing with those same guys. It ain't like those guys are gone. He still has Wilkerson, Tucker, and some of the other young guys he's playing with. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the name of the game right now. It's all about the quarterback competition. That's what we're going to be watching, and we'll see how it unfolds.
So, real quick, man, we on our last little 10 minutes. Everybody, man, make sure you hitting the like button if you ain't hit it already on both channels. Hit the subscribe button as well on both channels if you haven't already. But get a little preview going into this next week, right? Going into this Vikings game. I know we're not really, game planning or anything like we would on a normal week. But what do you expect to see out there as far as when they come out and take the field on Saturday, man? Like, I know I know a lot of people are tripping because JJ McCarthy said something about a vanilla defense, but I mean, realistically, he's not wrong, bro. I mean, we're not gonna throw the kitchen sink at him. Like, we're not gonna throw the whole playbook, so he's not wrong. So at the end of the day, I mean, what are you expecting to see? What are you looking to see coming for this preseason game?
Like I said, I want to see them move the ball, right? Move the ball, get some points, right? And that's what we expect. We expect them to move the ball, get some points. We expect some of these defensive guys to kind of, make some plays, right? We want to see some of these young guys get involved, like Brock Bowers. You want to see that guy get involved. You want to see what he could do. Like I said, you want to see Dylan Lobby get involved, see what he could do. MJ Devonshire, Trey Taylor, I want to see what he could do. Hopefully he gets some playing time. I think he's going to make some plays out there because he's definitely a playmaker that I really, really like. And, I want to see some of these young guys out there because that's what the preseason is all about, man. It's really about the young guys making some plays and just want to see them be efficient, be able to move the football and score some points, you know what I mean? And that's going to be a factor here. Because, we're not going to see that many starters. I doubt Crosby will play. I wouldn't play Crosby the whole preseason, in my opinion. Or I wouldn't play him at all. Him or Christian Wilkins. But that's just me. But, SEC will talk about Tay too. But I wouldn't play Tay either. I wouldn't. What's the point? What are we doing?
There's 0 point to play any of them dudes. I know AP said everybody's playing, but I don't think he meant them dudes.
Yeah, it's really no point. I mean, if you want to play Tay, play him in the second game, which is supposedly more the dress rehearsal. You want to play him in that game, maybe, right? But kind of just him and Crosby can kind of just chill out, you know what I mean, a little bit in this game, and we can get some of those young guys going. Get a lot of Tyree Wilson, right? See what Tyree Wilson can do. See a lot of him. See what growth we get from him. Out there, and then of course, see like Byron Young, those guys. See what McCall can do. See if McCall can be that backup nose guard, and those type of things. Or you maybe even see like if there's some growth in Matthew Butler, like Britton Brown. That's what I'm excited to see. I want to see the young guys take a step here, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And you said something about Tyree. We didn't really talk about Tyree all that much, but finally started to make something happen. Finally started to emerge in the training camp. I know a lot of people are worried and mad about Tyree, and they're mad when I say I think it's going to be a 3-year project. And when I say that, I mean like this is the true rookie year for Tyree, and then next year we'll see what we supposed to be seeing. But at the end of the day, I mean, I want to see him do his thing. I want to see all these young dudes like you said, Jacorian Bennett. Hopefully he's out there. I want to see him play. A lot of people are talking about this McCall, man. This McCall guy, the D tackle. Is that something we should be paying attention to as well?
Yeah. I think with him, you just need to back him nose tackle. We covered him a little bit, really quickly on TDL. Real quickly, he didn't play last year. Really didn't play any games in the season. So we'll see what kind of growth he has. But somebody that was pretty good in college. Came out and I think he was a 4th round pick himself. So you just want to see what he could do. But I wouldn't have too many expectations for him. But the Raiders do need a backup nose tackle. But Byron Young's been filling that role. So
yeah, and so far it seems like he's doing his thing with it. But real quick before we got out of here, last 5 minutes, man, everybody, if you have any comments, any questions that you got for Marcus or anything like that on screen, make sure you guys go ahead and tap in right now for the last 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and answer some questions from the comment section, see what everybody has to say before we do get on out of here. I know, we talking about that. Real quick, I know I talked about a lot of draft stuff, man. I wanted to draft the quarterback. JJ McCarthy was not one of them, but I know I definitely wanted to draft, but we about to see this preseason game and pretty much throughout the season. Like if that's what we should have did, I just want to get your opinion. You think we should have probably drafted one, or you think we probably messed up not getting one?
Like, do you mean like just draft one overall? Like
period, period.
See, it's difficult for me with the any round thing because I know a lot of people want to Spencer Rattler, those type of guys, right? And it just would have been interesting to see, if they drafted Spencer Rattler, does he get a shot to be a starter or anything like that? I just feel like they were like, we got Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, we're gonna roll with that, because I heard through a birdie that it was Jaden Daniels or bust for them. So if it was like that, right, then you kind of felt like that they maybe felt comfortable, which I really don't agree with that. But that's what they thought, and they kind of were expecting that. And who knows? I mean, it maybe if Penix fell to them, which the Falcons shocked the whole league when we found out they actually shocked the Falcons.
I think they would have did it. I think they would have did it.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right? They shocked the Falcons themselves.
Yeah,
nobody was expecting it. I don't know if people watched the Giants' Hard Knocks, but the Giants were expecting them to take Dallas Turner or take Roman Odunze. Right. And, the hope that that kind of, and Joe, I can't even, it's going. I don't know if it's how to say his last name, but he was had a pretty good he was pretty tapped into what the league was doing, right? Calling a lot of people, pretty tapped in, and nobody knew the Falcons were going to do that. So, it would have been one of those guys if they did that. But if when it comes to drafting a quarterback late in the rounds, I feel like those guys go late in the round for a reason, and it's hard to kind of figure out. I know there's Brock Purdy sometimes, but there's a Brock Purdy, and then who else really that is drafted that late that is really good, and it really happens like every 4 or 5 years. I mean, like go Kirk Cousins, but he was drafted in 2012, right? Or 2012 he was drafted. Dak Prescott's 2016, so it's not. These are rare occurrences that you get these type of guys to get drafted in the later rounds and become good. So and that's why we're a little harder on Aiden O'Connell, right? Because if Aiden O'Connell was a 1st round pick, I mean, Gardner Minshew wouldn't be here. We'd be
at all,
right? Because he performed well enough, right? So 4th round picks don't get that. They have a shorter leash too. So it's for them to kind of take that, and I felt better with them adding more players around that, and then hopefully they can do something next year at the quarterback position, because it's the quarterback draft this year is a little iffy, but we'll see if maybe somebody can step up. This could be really good.
I'm gonna say a name. I know a lot of people get mad at me when I say it, but I don't give a damn. I'll take Deion Sun in a heartbeat. I don't give a damn. That don't matter nothing to me. But Taddy 707 says, do you think Minshew has the edge because Getsy picked him and probably fits the system better?
Yeah, see, I don't know if he fits the system better. I don't know if I don't think either of these guys really fit what Getsy really likes to do, and because Getsy, from my view, and I don't know if it's just because he had Justin Fields, and that could be a different thing, is has a lot of vertical concepts that are really dope, right? Okay. And I don't know if we're going to see those this year because we don't have a guy that can really take advantage of that. But I think Minshew was more of. The teams do this in free agency where they play against a guy the guy beats them. They're like, you know what? Maybe he beat us. Maybe, they do this all the time. Like, you'll see it across the league. It's somebody, they pick up guys that they played against the year before.
Right.
And, I think Minshew was a little bit of that. I think Minshew was like, hey, we played against him. He beat us. And, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not the biggest fan of this game, but, we'll see how it goes. It's more because is that he limits the offense.
Okay.
And I don't think people realize how much he limits the offense. Like, you can't throw downfield with him. He just can't do it. He doesn't have the arm for it. So since he limits the offense, everything becomes short. And, even his thought process, I think he has a good feel of himself, which, he has a good self-awareness, which I appreciate for him. He knows he really can't do that, and he's not going to look to do that. Right. So that's the thing with him, is that he really limits it.
And that's interesting. Yeah. And what you just said gives me flashbacks of what's been happening in the last 2 years with the Raiders offense, like not being able to go downfield, having to now limit yourself short. You know what I mean? And now you see how that compresses the offense when things start to get like that. So 100%, bro. I mean, I think it's just going to show Saturday if he can, excel. I know a lot of people are like, he's never had these weapons before, but I'm like, I mean, it doesn't matter if the thought process is the same, bro. It doesn't matter about the weapons, bro. If he thinks one way, he thinks one way. He's not going to be able to change that. But
and he did have these weapons before. He played with the Eagles, so you could go watch those Eagles games. He had AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Scott. He has these weapons before.
All right, and then there we go. See, we go back to that, and then we see how he performed there, and then we can come back and make our analysis from that. But, man, we an hour in, man. I don't want to take too much of your time, big dog. I know you probably got some other things you got to do, but I appreciate you for popping up, for showing up, and talking that Raiders ball with us, man. I know we're going to have plenty of other conversations as the season goes on. But for the people that haven't probably seen your channel before or new to you, man, anything you guys got going on going into the preseason and anything else?
Yeah, so of course we do Friday Night Live tomorrow, so we get the Friday Night Live going tomorrow, and then as well, and then we'll get the we do instant reactions for every single game. So check that out. Join the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We do Friday Night Live, like I said, is going to be tomorrow. Instant reaction after the game. Right after we go instant reaction, we go live. Quick 30 minutes, recap everything we saw. Just like quick recap. That's when we look at you'll get me in full fan mode at that point instead of full analysis mode. You get me in full fan mode at that point. So that's what you get me. You get the emotional Marcus at that point. But but then we'll get to the film. The film's gonna come out really soon. Right after that, and then we'll be hitting these film breakdowns. You could join a membership. I'm probably gonna do like a breakdown of every single throw for each quarterback this preseason. So I won't be putting that work in. So just definitely check us out.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to be looking forward to that content. They don't understand, man. We got to turn content. We got to separate the content creator from the fans sometimes, bro. They don't understand that, but it's all right. You know what I mean? We finally get the fan out a little bit this weekend. But I said, I appreciate you for coming on. I'm going to be looking for all that stuff that you got going on to break down the game that happens. I'm going to be doing a little live watch party too. So I'm going to be looking at all your stuff you got going on. But once again, I appreciate you for coming on here. Everybody, you already know what time it is. Make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe button, man. And you already know what time it is, dog. We're going to see you next week for another live episode of the Raider Rundown. And until then, y'all already know what I say, man. We always keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground here on the Raider Rundown. Peace. See y'all next week.